Iraq's Republican Guard. At a map coordinate designated 73 Easting, a U.S. troop ran directly into a brigade of the elite Talwa Kana Division. In the middle of a sandstorm with no air support, 9 M1A1s faced a brigade arrayed in textbook defensive position. By any reasonable calculation, the Americans didn't stand a chance.
I decided to go to what's called a tanks lead formation, where the tanks move through the scouts and take the lead of the troop. We had been moving through what was a relatively flat and featureless desert, and what I didn't realize is that my tank was moving up a very slight rise in the terrain. After we crested that rise and came down on the other side, the whole enemy position really came into view. And I was up out of the hatch at the time and just scanned quickly with the naked eye, and I could count AT-72s in dug-in positions or behind mounded up dirt. Simultaneously with that, my gunner, who was moving the turret back and forth to detect enemy vehicles, yelled, "Identify tanks." So I began to yell, "Fire, fire, Sabo! Fire, fire, Sabo!" with Sergeant Crow screaming, "On the way!" The gun erupted. Green and white are the call signs of my two tank platoons, who I was hoping to see rather rapidly on either flank of my tank so that we could assault this position together. It took them just a few seconds to get up abreast of my tank, about 10 seconds actually. In that 10-second span, we were able to get off 2 additional rounds to the first round that we fired. And our loader was an exceptional loader and could load a round out every 3 seconds. 6 to 9 seconds later, we had 2 other rounds out. 3 enemy tanks were dead in flames and burning. Well, the 2 tank platoons crested the ridge almost simultaneously, and immediately 8 other enemy armored vehicles were in flames.
The Iraqis fought back to no avail. The 9 M1A1s and 12 Bradleys of Eagle troops swept through the brigade, blasting away at all available targets. They destroyed 28 tanks, 16 personnel carriers, and 39 trucks in 23 minutes, with no American losses.
What struck me was how quickly it occurred. And if you get the jump on the enemy in the desert and are able to fire first, with 9 M1A1 tanks that don't miss, firing around every 3 seconds, very rapidly you can break the enemy's back to the point where he just can't recover from it.
Once we started shooting, it didn't really set in. It was more like an adrenaline rush. All our instincts took over. We didn't really have time to think. If we had time, if we sat and thought about something, we probably would have been dead. After the ceasefire campaign, we sat back and we sort of thought to ourselves, wow, we just killed X many of people. The way I consoled myself and my crew is either them or us. And once we thought of that in that perspective, it was easier to deal with.
towards Wrecked Ridge. The tanks to your front will now engage enemy vehicles with each type of ram to demonstrate the capability of the target management system. This system allows the commander and gunner to work independently of each other, enabling the commander to select the next target whilst the gunner is engaging the first. This is often known as the hunter-killer capability. Using this target acquisition base, the tank can accurately engage up to 8 targets in 1 minute. This tank will fire first 3 fin rounds, 3 pesh rounds, and 3 smoke rounds.
It toughed it out against Saddam Hussein's huge armored fleets in the Gulf War. 10 years later, it was back there for Operation Iraqi Freedom. And once again, this tank proved itself nearly indestructible. In fact, this was the only tank operating in the Gulf that did not suffer a single loss to enemy fire.
I spoke to a gunner from the Royal Scots Dragoons. He thought it was the best tank that he'd ever seen, been in, wanted to be in it, and I think if it was a girl, he would have married it.
The British Challenger tank, first produced in 1982. Top speed 37 miles per hour. Range 340 miles. Condor V12 engine gives Challenger a power-to-weight ratio of 19.2 horsepower per ton. Armor thickness classified. Primary weapon 120mm rifled gun.
And I think you just have to look back at Operation Telic, as the British would call it, or Operation Iraqi Freedom, as the Americans would say, and just look at the success rate. How many Abrams tanks were destroyed by Fedayeen? A handful. How many Challengers were destroyed? None.
This is unquestionably a seriously tough tank.
In one engagement, the Challenger was hit 14 times by rocket-propelled grenades and by one Milan anti-tank weapon, which happened to destroy the sight. The vehicle had to disengage to have its sight refitted, and was back in service again within 6 hours.
This durability is thanks to Challenger's top-secret, high-tech armor that protects the tank even from high-explosive shells.
It's chobble armor. It's a laminate type of armor where the exact BIX is a secret. You can fire a high-explosive anti-tank round when it hits, and that jet penetrates. There are ceramic tiles in this armor. Just exactly how they're put in there is a secret, but it disperses that jet flame over the armor.
But the Challenger cannot appear at the very top of our list. This is a tank featuring the very latest technology and armor, but only 386 of them have been built. In such small numbers, it cannot be called a world-beating tank. The Challenger scores very good marks for its world-class armor and the maximum on firepower. The rifled 120mm gun is a record breaker. Marks are down for mobility and further down for production rating. This tank gets a low average for fear factor. It's an impressive machine, but there aren't enough of them to make an enemy truly fearful.
From the traditional battlefield to low-intensity conflicts, today's sophisticated platforms and valuable troops are still vulnerable to a spectrum of destructive threats. Introducing Trophy, the world's first and only operational active protection system from Rafael. Now fully deployed and available for a wide range of combat platforms, Trophy protects against all types of anti-tank rockets, anti-tank guided missiles, and tank heat rounds. Providing ultimate survivability, Trophy is composed of 3 innovative elements: an effective detection system, sophisticated tracking, and hard kill countermeasures with automated launch. Trophy's state-of-the-art solution provides total defense from simultaneous multiple directions and high-elevation missile attack. Proven in operational tests, Trophy also identifies the source of hostile fire, eliminating further attack. And it maintains a very high kill probability while static and on the move. Neutralizing weapons fired from very short range, Trophy is the ideal solution for both urban and open battle arenas. And in the case of missile detonation, the chance of Trophy causing injury to friendly forces is less than 1%. Declared operational by the IDF, Trophy completed over 700 live field and acceptance tests. Special facilities were built for the system's qualification tests. Trophy neutralizes what were once fatal threats with minimal jet formation, residual penetration, or collateral damage. Neutralizes all types of ATRs, ATGMs, and tank heat rounds, fully operationally deployed on Merkava tanks. High kill probability, standing or on the move. 360-degree protection, high elevation defense. Neutralizes close-range threats. Neutralizes multiple simultaneous threats. Minimal collateral damage. Easy integration to light, medium, and heavy platforms. Trophy, the world's first and only operational active protection system from Rafael.